All right, boys. Episode 33 of Don't Spoil the Ending.
Yo.
How we doing?
Not too bad.
Yeah, good, sir.
Good.
Yep.
Good. I'm Joe.
I'm Nick.
And hi, I'm John.
All right. This is a podcast about games and videos. Games and video. I've said it again.
Games and videos, 1980s.
It's 33 episodes in and I still can't do a good intro. So this is obviously a podcast about TV, games, films. Nearly said videos again.
VHS.
VHS tapes.
Laserdisc.
Betamax.
Yep.
Tapes. Yep. So this week we're going to cover Jumanji, the new one. I think it's called Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, that's right.
And Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
They definitely only called it that so they could use the song as the soundtrack. That's the only reason he called it that.
The weird thing is, have you heard of a film called The Rundown with The Rock? No. And Sean William Scott?
No.
It's called The Rundown in the UK, but that in the US is called Welcome to the Jungle, and it's starring The Rock.
Right.
So it's like a weird sequel to...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are sort of, it's like a dual main event this week. Jumanji will lead into The Last Jedi, but Last Jedi is our main film this week. But yeah, have we done anything or watched anything interesting this last week?
I've not done much, to be honest with you. Just to let everyone know, I've updated my Twitter account. I think you've both seen it. Oh. It's now pretty much a 24/7 Doom account. Yeah, whenever I win a game on Nintendo Switch on Doom, I'll be updating it on Twitter. So
fantastic.
For all my 75 followers, if you want more Doom updates.
75,000 followers?
No, 75. Keep tuned to my Doom updates, yeah.
Sounds great. Do you want to plug your Twitter now?
Yeah, you can do, at Taylor1980, where the bios are Doom aficionado. So yeah, check it out, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Great stuff. We were featured on the front page of iTunes this last week.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Worth bringing up. Don't know why. You've listened to this podcast before.
Because we're binge-worthy, aren't we?
We are on the binge-worthy list.
Yeah.
So that's nice. You can listen to this podcast when you're binge drinking, binge shopping.
I was going to say, I was wondering if that was like kind of a hint at the fact that we've been drunk a lot of the time in the podcast.
It's been a fair bit of drinking on this show, hasn't there, over the past few months. But yeah, this is episode 33, like I said before. So I wanted to talk about some games this week. So we'll go into games first, if that's all right.
Yeah, okay.
So I mentioned on the Year in Review podcast that I've been playing Night in the Woods. Been playing a bit more of that. I think I'm about halfway through the game, but I can't tell. Now, a lot of people are going to play that game, and it's not your standard game. Like the game mechanics, there's not much there. It's like just jumping, running around. There's not like the game. You don't play that game for the gameplay. You obviously play it for the story.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is like I took about a week break from that game and went back to it thinking I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I like the game, but took some time away, went back in. But I just got instantly hooked as soon as I got back into it. And as I've been playing it, I kind of like, even though a lot of the stuff you do is quite repetitive. So you'll wake up in the morning, you'll go and do some mundane stuff, or you'll go like walk around the town and reinitiate conversations with people you've met. It kind of like, I think it just scratches this like strange itch for me where you're like, it feels like a mundane game, but it's such a cozy game as well.
Yeah.
Like it's quite odd. And I keep thinking to myself, when I finish this game, there'll be something missing from my gaming like collection or whatever I'm playing at the time. The fact that I can't just go and just do all this random stuff. Because like I said, before I took the break, I was walking around going, this is getting repetitive now. I'm walking over the exact same town over and over again and initiating conversations with the same people. There's a few people like it changes and things, and it's not the same conversation every day. But I kind of looked at it going like, is this the game? Is this how this works? But I've grew to like really appreciate it, and yeah, like I said, I'll miss it when I've finished it.
Yeah.
But
sounds a bit like elements of Shenmue in the like the life
simulator
aspect
definitely.
to it.
No, that's a good sort of link you can make between those two games. It's like it is a game where you just wake up in the morning, do some stuff, and then you usually finish the evening doing something with one of your three best mates. So you generally can choose which one you can go do something with, but they're all part of a story. So it's kind of like you'll do one with one, and then the next night they might not let you do anything with them, and it's just so you can go and trigger off the story points in the other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was playing it last night and some really like strange stuff happened again. Like I said, I mentioned last week that this game is like, it treats depression like it's normal, basically. So it's this game with all these like things that happen, and it's clearly you're playing a character who's clearly depressed. So the way you see the world is different.
Yeah.
But on one of these trips, I took a trip with Angus, who's one of your friends, basically, and he takes you into the woods. Now, I won't ruin anything, but you go on this hike with him, and he's got asthma, but he eventually gets up there, and you look at the stars, and you pick out these constellations, and you make up these stories of these constellations. And by this time, it's dark, and you're just sat on a log. You're quite away from town, So, yeah, but as you've finished doing the constellations and you go back onto you and Angus sat on this log, like talking about these constellations, the camera sort of like just appears, and then Angus basically says, don't freak out, but there's a guy standing over there. And then you actually go, you look to the right of the screen, and next to the tree is like this creepy guy who you basically, I won't ruin anything about the game, but you've spotted him earlier in the game. But he's there. I should have really put a spoiler warning in, shouldn't I?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
No, do you reckon that's all right?
I think that's fine.
I think there's not given too much.
It's not a big spoiler, like, yeah.
I mean, like, if you didn't get me wanting to play it last week, I'm now really desperate to play it now just because of what you told me.
Definitely sounds intriguing.
But so literally, they're like, you sit there, and then Angus pretty much says, right, just follow my lead, and goes over and goes, he's like, hey you, and the guy doesn't respond. So your character May, who's the cat, is like what are we gonna do? This is like freaking me out. And I don't really want to. I'm not going to go any further, but that's a one of the creepy moments in that game that is, like I said, mainly based around how you deal with these tasks that are almost mundane. The way you walk around the same town and you interact with these characters who. The dialogue on that game is like spot on. Like I mentioned it on the year in review show, that that game is written really well for what you would imagine a 20-year-old going back to their old town, and everything's slightly different, or everything's changed, and you've stayed more or less the same after you've been away for a while. Dialogue's perfect. Like it's written exactly as it should be. But then you enter all these little creepy moments like that, and you're like, "What is this game?" Like I said, I think I'm about halfway through. I don't know how far, to be honest. I might be further on. I might not be that far, but it's just peppered with these little moments like that where I'm trying to figure out what that game is.
Yeah. No, it sounds intriguing.
I mean, I don't know where it goes or what happens, but
you're interested to find out, though.
Yeah, so. It's just all you have to do is put up with, like, if you don't like repetitive like gameplay, then it's not the game for you. But if you can stomach that to play a story that you might be interested in, then that's something that's worth a look.
And it does sound like that's almost the point, the repetitive gameplay kind of thing.
It's almost like one of the gameplay mechanics is that or one of the main story points is that you're just living day after day after day,
like stuck in a rut kind of thing.
So like that. Well, that's exactly it. That seems to be the point, or at least that's where I'm up to. It seems like that's the point.
Yeah,
but highly recommend that game.
I mean, you've got me wanting to play it, like just because of that creepy scene. Like, I want to feel that scare.
Yeah, like I said, it's a 2D game, and the characters are all like cutesy looking, like animals and stuff. But when you see that creepy shadowy figure near the trees, it's like, oh, right, okay,
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's still a high recommend from me. Just wanted to talk a bit more in detail about that.
Sounds good.
I wanted to talk a couple of things as well. City Skylines, I've been playing that more. Nick, I think
you've managed. The year in review show. You spoke about it, and since then I've bought it. That's really good. I really enjoy playing it.
Yeah. No, I recommended it to Sam as well, and Sam's bought it on Steam. So he's managed to buy the full pack. Obviously, it came out in 2015 on PC.
Yeah.
But he's managed to buy all of the DLC with it because it was like a lot. It's obviously a lot cheaper on Steam, but the base game on Steam was like £5.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
And like when like me and you, Nick, we've been playing that game a bit recently. That game's worth more than £5.
Oh, definitely.
It's a monster of a game. That if you really get into it.
I bought it and I weren't very good at first, to be honest with you. Like, I started this city and I jumped the gun and I was just like buying everything. Like, yeah, taking out loads of loans. I was just like, take loans out, buy all these stuff. And I mean, all the civilians were just moaning about nothing, you know, poisoned water, and I'm just like, fucking shut up. and then after that, it's like, well, can you at least build us a hospital? I was like, fuck off, I've got no money. And then then they just needed. Then they wouldn't stop moaning about having a graveyard for everyone who died. I was like, fucking, you ever fucking happy, you lot? So I upped the tax to 50%, and just rinsed all the people living in the city.
I don't think this is the game for you, Nick.
No, I mean that was my first try, and it ended with me going to the bulldozer thing and just bulldozing everything, like just at random, just going through, going.
Have you ever played Tropico, where you can be a dictator? I think that's the game for you, Nick.
No, I mean I've since tried another. I've made another map, and I've learnt the error of my ways. Like I think the reason they poisoned all the water, I couldn't figure out first. Like, why is everything so poisoned? I think like my water tower was in like a
polluted area.
It was in the polluted area, yeah. So I've made this city and it's going really well. And I've realised in the bottom corner where it's got the little bar showing you like what you need to be. I didn't realise that at first, but you need to pretty much balance it and keep it at the bottom, don't you?
Yeah.
So I've started doing that now, and I've got a lot of happy people in my city.
Good.
So. And it's expanding at an exponential rate. So I'm really enjoying it now.
Great. My main city at the moment, I've got about nearly 100,000 people living in there. Problem is I've got massive tailbacks on my highways because I've managed to make a really complicated road system. So a lot of people are complaining that the dead people are not being picked up as quickly as they should be. So there are people literally dying.
And just staying there.
Yeah, because the traffic's got so bad that
you can't move the bodies.
It's really hard to get to the bodies. So that's my issue at the moment.
The big issue for me is when I allow them to build one house, then everyone needs more electricity. I'm like, I've got like a wind farm like to rival fucking, I don't know, big wind farm. It's massive, and I've also got a little coal thingy.
Yeah,
and it's they just moan all the time. Like, I've literally got no money. I'm trying my hardest to balance it all here, but it's going well so far though.
It's a very good game.
I've really enjoyed it, and this one it's got like the motorway straight through the map.
Oh yeah.
So I have to like build bridges over it.
Yeah, bridge making's really satisfying.
I quite like it, yeah.
I've got to a point on my one where, because my highways have got so complicated, as I try and fix the mess I made, I've got bridges going under bridges, over bridges, train bridges, and it's got so complicated that I've got to a point where I've basically got the full map size on my city where, or nearly the full map size, where it's, you start off with one big cell, and you can buy different cells. So at the moment, I've got almost a 3x3 huge block. So on the PlayStation, when you zoom out, I can't fit my whole city into the screen now. It's that big. What I'm going to have to do is just absolutely bulldoze my way right down the middle and just make two big highways and just try and facilitate the traffic. That's what I'm going to have to do. So people are not going to be happy when I decide to make that move, because the problem is with the bodies piling up, something drastic's going to change.
Got to do it, yeah.
Yeah, so... But we'll finish on cities there for now, I think. But I'd like to get Sam's opinion on it when he's next on. See what problems he's having. I knew one of them is coal plant ran out of coal because he had no roads leading to the building.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Could be an issue. But so they're two games I wanted to talk about again. I know I covered them last week, but wanted to talk a bit further in detail about them.
Yeah, sounds good.
I've been playing my Nintendo Switch a lot more.
Yep.
Like I mentioned, like I got it. I think I got it on the day of the last podcast. That's
Yeah,
when
you
I
did. Yeah.
bought it. So I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey. That's really good.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a collectathon, like where you just go around collecting things. So you collect power moons and outfits, and then you almost have a section in the game where you can see what you've caught, what you threw your hat. So you can see all these pictures of things that you've managed to just put your hat on. So it is like a collector game, but I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Like I don't normally like that, but it's quite satisfying. I think what that game has going for it more than anything is the gameplay. So when you actually do throw your hat onto like a creature, they all have their own sort of way of playing on the game. So
Right. Yeah.
it's really odd.
You have to be on like unique kind of play style.
Yeah, so they have their own controls and their own little like weird things they can do. So like I think it's a sunflower, but you can grow really tall, like, and then jump off the top, and then go back to your normal size, so you can get up to really high places. So
Right.
it's things like that. So yeah, really enjoying Mario. Yeah, that's good. Legend of Zelda, like that game is a very, very pretty game. Like it's,
the art style to it and stuff.
yeah, but even then, like I'm playing that, and the mechanics are really like interesting, like good mechanics. They're pretty solid. So not got very far on that, but I'm intrigued by it. This is my first Zelda game, so yeah.
Yeah, like I've never been never liked the idea of Zelda. No. So like the whole like or Mario for that matter. So my whole reason for ever getting a Nintendo console was Pokemon normally.
Yeah.
So like I'm not sure if it's out yet, but like there's one due to come out on the Switch.
So with Pokemon, there's rumors that the next Pokemon game to come out is going to be like it's going to rip the format up. So if you're a Pokemon fan, it's pretty much been the same game since about 1994.
Right.
So it's you walk around, go to gyms, you catch Pokemon in grass, and do all this. And it's got a bit more complex as time has gone on. It's obviously the graphics are a lot better. It's not just a Game Boy now.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's the exact same game.
Yeah.
Now, what the rumor is that they're going to do it as an RPG style thing. So
Right.
that'll be interesting to see because you've got the capability. So but they had the capability on the DS.
I mean, at this point, that'll be the point I buy a Switch. At the moment, I'm in any rush to get one because, like I say, never been a fan of Mario, never been a fan of Zelda. The only thing that's on there at the moment which does intrigue me is Doom, but I've got that on air. Yeah, I've got that on VR and on the PlayStation.
It's interesting though, like the game library. I think there are some really amazing games on it. But the game library isn't like an expansive game library at the moment. Obviously, like it only came out last year. Yeah. But like literally everybody I know who has a Switch or anybody that I've seen online who's had a Switch, like absolutely adores it. Like they just love it. Like I've only got like 4 games on it, and it feels like a really amazing piece of hardware. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, John,
definitely.
How do you feel about your like Switch?
Well, I think I've said to you before that I could quite happily live with now just getting rid of the PS4 and Xbox and just playing the Switch. In the past, Nintendo's issues have always been the online connectivity, but I feel like they're there now with the Switch. Doom works amazing online. It's a great online shooter. They've got FIFA on there now that you can play online. So really, I could just play the Switch and nothing else now. I'm at that point now where
it's currently US's #1 selling home console, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
So it's overtaken PlayStation and Xbox in sales, pretty much.
Well, like current sales, so like for okay.
It's doing really well. Yeah.
Like you're not alone. I think absolutely everyone loves the Switch worldwide.
But it's quite. I find that quite amazing though, because like if I looked at that game library, I'd only just be tipped to buy it. Like I don't look at the game library as if it's so expansive, because I don't think it is. I think there's 2 10 out of 10 games. I don't know about Doom, but it's probably an 8 or a 9 maybe out of 10.
Yeah, I mean I'd give it a 9 definitely.
Yeah. Zelda and Mario are the 2 10 out of 10 games, and then there's a few other games like Stardew Valley's available on it, which we'll come on to in a minute because I know you've been playing it, Nick. That's for me is like an 8 or a 9, but for a lot of people that'd be like a 4 because it's it's a game that's hard to. You'd have to be the right person to play that game. Yeah. Games like Sonic Mania and stuff like really highly rated, but again, it is a Sonic game. Yeah. So it's the library's not that expansive, and with 2 would you call them masterpieces, Mario and Zelda
I'd
games?
definitely say so. Yeah, they're both like 10 out of 10 games.
Yeah, because that Mario game might be the best Mario game ever.
Yeah,
I've heard people
that's
say.
what the way people are talking about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Before I even knew it was out, I saw on Reddit like people talking about that game, and they were just absolutely raving about it, going, "Wow, this is actually perfection."
Yeah, in terms of like a Mario game or a platformer, and like I'm learning new stuff on it as I go along. It is a fantastic game, but I find it really interesting that everybody like categorically just loves the Switch, even if they've only got a handful of games.
Question: like how do you have the games? Is it just on the console, or do you have discs or cartridges?
I've got a couple on the excuse me, a couple saved on the console and a couple on cartridge.
Is it cartridge? Yeah,
Cartridge based. Yeah. I've got a Doom, Mario Kart, and Splatoon on cartridge. Yep.
Yeah.
Then like NBA and racing game. I can't think what it's called now, but they're downloaded to the actual console. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And any word on like a kind of game in the month type deal like Xbox and PlayStation?
Well, you're gonna have to start paying for the online service soon. Apparently, do you know about that?
Yeah. As someone who doesn't play Switch online, I'm not that person who's ever going to do that.
Right.
I don't mind.
If that comes about though, like do you think they'll ever put like a free game in the month on? Or?
Possibly. I mean, they've got like that Nintendo Vault, haven't they? Just loads of old games they could give away, kind of thing. So,
or they do like charging for SNES games.
This is what I'm thinking. Like, I think they'll try charging for it first with nothing. If there's a bit of a backlash, they might be like, "Oh, well, you can have Mario for maybe $19.85 for free with it."
But then a lot of people will be like, "Oh, great!"
Yeah, actually,
yeah. I'm interested to see what it is. I'm not going to sign up straight away, like because at least with like I'm on PSN. That's I can't remember how much that is a month these days.
It's gone up, I think, or a month. Sorry.
Yeah, like I can't really slag that off because I've had so many free games off it.
Yeah.
That I now know that I have too many games to play on that PlayStation. So we got Just Cause free on there like a couple of months ago. Not even started that up.
Yeah.
Got thingy, didn't we? Metal Gear Solid as well.
Yeah, which I still find baffling was available for free. One of the best games of this entire generation. Like,
got Deus Ex this month.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, we've got plenty of like big games that.
What was the game called? It's on this month's list. Uncanny Valley.
Oh yeah.
I've looked at the screenshot of that, and the idea it looks like a sort of pixely horror game. I was quite interested in that. That was free.
And they're just giving away Star Blood Arena, is it called?
Yes, that's right.
Like a VR shooter, which was like £30 a couple of months ago. Just giving away for free.
Thing now?
But for
VR,
free, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing. Free VR games now.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
like every couple of
I think more like every 3 months or something. Maybe they'll put a new one.
Because
on
I think it's about 3 months ago they put Thingy on, didn't they?
Until Dawn, was
Until
it?
Dawn, and so now they're doing.
And then before that, it was Riggs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe it will be a.
I mean, I'm
a
happy
thing.
with every 3 months because there's not enough games to put one out every month. But
Yeah,
I like the idea of a free VR game. Now
defo.
I'm a proud VR owner.
Yeah, but like you were saying before, you combine in all the PS4 games you get for free with PS3 ones that are still. You can still get PS3 ones on there. Or the Xbox One games as well. It's like there's more games that you can even play. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Talking about PlayStation, we're going to finish on Switch for now. Nick, I know you've been playing Stardew Valley recently. I just wanted your opinion on it.
I bought 4 games just before the new year, like basically because of the sales, the January sales, and Stardew Valley, like you say, was one of them. I've not played much of it, to be honest. I'm literally about 5 days in.
Yeah.
And like for what it is, I can appreciate it. I'm not blown away by it. I wasn't blown away by it.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate like what you do and like
the point.
Yeah, the point of it. But I'm gonna probably carry on playing it from time to time, but I'm not gonna like invest a huge amount of time into it.
Yeah. I think it's for certain people they could put hundreds of hours into that game.
I mean, I showed my housemate, Josh. He's been on the show before, everyone knows him.
He was an original member of this.
He was OG.
In the first pilot, yeah.
I mentioned it to him and showing him because that game is 2 things that Josh fucking loves in gaming anyway, which is the 2D, like the art style of it, and farming. He fucking like honestly, he loved farming in games.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, this is a game for you. And within about 5 minutes, he went and bought it himself, and he's already played it a lot more than I have.
Okay.
And he bought it after I did. So yeah.
It's the modern day Harvest Moon, that game. That's what I've heard. Harvest Moon was like an old game.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've never played it.
A lot of people loved it, but it's pretty similar as far as I've heard.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I bought 4 games before the new year. One of the other ones, which was City Skylines, Stardew Valley. One of the other ones was Skyrim VR, which I've been itching to get since its release, and I've played more of this game than I ever did the original Skyrim. I mean, it is quite fun. Like, I'm only up to like the first little town, which goes to show just how much I'd played of this game before. But like you can tell, like because of the the engine that they use, like it's very blurry. Like I would prefer it not to be like that, but I know why it's like that, so I can't really complain. And I really enjoy it when like you've got a bow and arrow. I absolutely love drawing the bow and arrow. I know it's like the most mundane thing ever, but I really enjoy just doing the action to pull an arrow, a bow and arrow, and shoot. Yeah, it's really fun.
I'm dying to see how it works. Skyrim VR, like Skyrim, like I've said previously, is one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah. Not
the favorite, but one of. But playing that in VR, it's going to be a completely different experience, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, it is weird. Like one of the weirdest moments for me was right at the beginning when I'm on the chopping block.
Yeah,
I was like, my God, my head's about to come off. Obviously, I knew it weren't, but and then
spoilers.
Then the size of the dragon, like it was absolutely mind blowing. That, to be honest,
the Alduin at the start, the dragon,
the dragon at the start, that blew my mind a bit. But like, obviously, like because they've got the 2 ice cream cones instead of a pad, like the way you move around a lot different. Instead of just moving forwards, you always jump. You're always kind of jumping from.
So is it the teleport thing?
Yeah, you literally always teleport.
I don't know if I can play Skyrim with the teleport VR function though.
That's literally
right. Skyrim, you can do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I mean, it takes some getting used to. Yeah. It does take some getting used
to. The reason that I don't know if you can turn that off and do just normal walking with a button, but that's where I hear the motion sickness can come in.
I don't imagine you would be able to turn it off. Okay. Purely because you can't. I don't think you can actually use it.
I think what some games do is they use like an out button on it, and that's your walk button. But if you press a button and your head is moving forward in the game, but your real body is like sat on a couch or whatever, that causes motion sickness to a lot of people.
Right.
But like you can use the wireless remote if you want. So I imagine you could just walk normally with that.
Yeah.
But if you're using the things, all buttons are being used because they've all got a function. One thing or the other, but it's good. I'm more excited. Like I think I said it before. I'm more excited for the Fallout one. I think the graphics on that will be a lot better and it'll be a lot less blurry in places.
The graphics will be what a Bethesda game is. I love the style of Bethesda games, but they're not exactly The Witcher, are they?
Yeah. But no, I barely appreciated it. Really liked it. The final game I bought was South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Oh yes,
that one.
Is that pun? Oh, sorry, it's not pun, is it? Well, I'll just ignore
that. But no, like I've completed that within 2 days of getting a game. And that's not to say it's a short game. I just invested a lot of those 2 days into playing that game. I didn't put the pad down for those 2 days. I'm going to say completed it. I've still got some collectibles to collect and the likes, which I'm going to go back and do.
How do you compare it to Stick of Truth?
I would put them both about level.
Because these both cover the sort of things you're into, really. So the original one was more Skyrim, Lord of the Ringsy type characters, and then this one's more superheroes and supervillains.
Yeah.
So these tick all your boxes, both of those games.
It's dead good. Like it's not really a spoiler, but like basically it asks you at one point you go into Councillor Mackey's office and they ask you your gender, and you go in and like you ask your gender. It's like male, female, or other. So and like if you in the end you get to basically say like you can choose by about a list of about 20 different genders. It's like cisgender, transgender, spirituals gender or something daft like that. But every time you like you it's not like I say, it's not much of a spoiler, but you'll choose your gender, and you'll walk outside of the school, and then the rednecks will come up and go, "Oh my god, it's that transgender! Get him, boys!" They'll start trying to beat you up, but then they'll call you back later on to ask for what was it? Your sexual orientation as well. And again, there's about a list of about 20 different orientations. And again, you'll walk out and they'll go, "Oh my god, it's the transgender pansexual, get him by." And later on, they ask you for your religion as well. And so I chose atheist because I'm like, well, obviously. And yeah, you go out and go, "Oh my god, boys, it's the atheist transgender pansexual, get him, boys."
I like the idea there of them having to record so many lines of dialogue.
Yeah, different combinations.
just for like a few jokes.
And you choose like your race as well. And I made myself a white kid because I didn't want it to be too difficult.
Just so I'm aware on it, the darker your skin tone on the game, the harder the game setting.
That basically before you start playing the difficulty, you'll go up and your character goes blacker the more difficult you go. So I chose, but like he asked me what race I am, so I chose Black Irish, and I'm still white, so I'm just a white Black Irishman.
I feel like that's a joke though, isn't it, as well in itself?
Yeah.
Like you can't have a Black Irishman, can you? You know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah, 5 out of 5. Love that game.
Good stuff. I wanted to just clarify, correct something I said last week, because can't always be right, can we? I've been playing Sonic Mania. I said last week that was more that you'd play like the first 2 levels of an old game, and then they'd do a remix level. It's kind of like I've been playing it. It's not that. It's some old levels and some new levels, but the old levels have these nostalgic points in them. Like they'll usually start off the same as an old level, and then they start morphing into new stuff. And then the second act is generally like brand new type thing. But this isn't really a spoiler because it's Sonic. Did I mention the Mean Bean Machine level?
No, I don't think so.
There's one of the I've just said it now, but one of the bosses is if you've ever played, was it Eggman's Mean Bean Machine or Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
I mean, was that like Game Gear and Mega Drive and stuff?
Yeah. So one of the boxes one of the bosses is just a level of that. So you get right to the end and you walk into the machine and you're like, "What's this?" And I'm going to call him Dr. Robotnik because that's his real name. Yeah. He's just in his little machine and you stand next to him and you just play a game of Mean Bean Machine. And that was like, if you've never seen that, it's a bit like Columns.
It's like a weird Tetris kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like Puyo type stuff.
Like everything was a Tetris rip-off back then, like Columns and It
was just a dead cool moment where you go into a boss fight and you just go and play an old Sega game.
Do you remember Dr. Mario?
That was similar, wasn't it? It was like
pills that dropped down.
That's right.
And Mario was just at the top as the doctor.
Yeah,
you have to like line pills up to like Tetris, basically.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to clarify that from last week because I've been playing that a lot more, and it's funny because you get all these little nostalgic stabs of old Sonic, and you'll be doing a level that you've not seen anything that you've seen before for a while, and then you'll come across a little section and go, "Oh, I remember this." So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Just on that, I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but what's the deal with Dr. Robotnik? Why is he called Eggman in the US and Dr. Robotnik in the UK?
I don't know. I
never understood that.
No, we need to do some research on that.
Yeah, I'll look into that for next week.
Because I didn't know if they were just making it a bit more accessible, but I don't know why. But I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Weird, isn't it? I don't. Never really got that.
I don't know what he was in Japan. I don't know if he was Eggman in Japan anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
And then it got translated for the first time to Dr. Robotnik, and then they just started calling him Eggman.
Yeah,
which is Paul. He's
like
Dr. Robotnik. That's his name. But yeah, are we done on games?
Yep.
Yeah. Should we move on then?
Yeah.
Have you got much? We'll go on to TV first. Do you think?
Yep.
No, I've not got much to say other than Game of Thrones is coming out in 2019. So that was rumoured, but it's confirmed. We're gonna have to wait another full year for the next edition of DSTE Presents Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I mean, the final edition will be the last series, won't it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy with the extended wait for the last season though, because it means they're putting a lot more time and effort.
Yeah, it might make for better products. Yeah.
That's the hope anyway. Like with Westworld, I'm so happy that they've extended that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
When do we know when Westworld's going to come back?
I actually don't, to be honest.
Not confirmed yet, but I think they're talking like 2019. Was it 2018?
I mean, we're over a year away. Sorry, over a year ago when the last one finished, wasn't it? So they're definitely taking longer than a year to do it. So
I can't wait for both of them.
Yep.
They're probably my two shows that I really like watching. Well,
both HBO.
Yeah, both top shows.
Yep.
Have we actually got any TV stuff?
I've actually not this week. No.
I mean, I'm not going to talk about it much, but I finished off Black Mirror from last week, and amazing. Yeah.
Is this season 4 of Black Mirror?
I think so.
Either 4 or 5, and I can't remember which one it is.
4. I think you are right. Yeah, it's 4.
How would you rate it overall?
I rate all Black Mirror like 5 out of 5. I think Charlie Brooker is just an absolute genius, and it's been confirmed now that every episode exists in the same universe. Like one of the episodes confirms it.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Well, should we just move on to films then?
Yep, sounds good.
John, have you watched anything this week?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I'm not going to spend loads of times on these two, but I watched Bright, the new Netflix blockbuster.
Yeah, I've seen this myself.
Yeah, it's been touted as Netflix's attempt to do their own massive blockbuster film, and directed by David Ayer, starring Will Smith and I forgot the other guy's name now. Joel Edgerton as the orc dude. And it was getting absolutely slammed by critics. It's got one of the lowest Rotten Tomatoes scores and stuff like that. So I was watching it, expecting it to be an absolute shit show, but I thought it was okay.
I actually really enjoyed it myself.
Yeah, I don't get why all the hate for it. I mentioned it's directed by David Ayer, who did Suicide Squad, End of Watch, Fury, and Sabotage. It's a bit hit and miss. End of Watch and Fury are both amazing, but Sabotage and Suicide Squad are a bit this is a bit more in that category for me, but it's still not as bad as people are making it out to be. It's some weird police drama set in an alternate kind of universe where fantasy stuff is in the real world, orcs and fairies and elves.
I quite like the sound of this.
Yeah, it's quite a high concept idea. A bit like Alien Nation from the 80s, where in that show it was policemen working with aliens and stuff. In this one, it's working with an orc, and they're trying to catch an elf's wand or something. Is it?
A magic wand.
Magic wand.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a weird idea, and I just think fantasy just turns people off nowadays. They hear an idea like that and just oh, sounds crap. I'm not watching that. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, what did you make of it?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I didn't watch it at first because of the critics ratings. I was like, oh, well, it can't be that good.
Yeah.
But then several people at work watched it and was like, oh no, watch it. It's actually really good. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I like it. I don't love it or anything, but I just don't get why it was so hated, kind of thing. There's nothing that offensive in the film. You know what I mean? That's that particularly bad or anything.
I think you said the other day, didn't you know, about critics being put out of a job if Netflix and films become a big thing.
I heard on another podcast they were saying there's some weird agenda, because critics' job is to recommend people what to spend their money on in the cinema. If Netflix are doing this at home, it's kind of putting critics out of a job because people aren't spending money in the cinema, are they? So almost as if there's some weird agenda to slam this film and try and make it just bomb so that keep themselves in a job in the long run, kind of thing.
But you look at Rotten Tomatoes and you say, I think it's 11% by critics.
Is that what it is?
Something honestly, it's really low. The ratings, none of them have rated it highly. And then you go to audience members and it's at 90%.
Yeah.
So it's complete opposite ends of the spectrum for critics and audiences.
Yeah.
That's a mad one.
And with it being David Ayer, he's got a weird thing about nowadays there's a bit of like an anti-gun thing in terms of films. Like The Matrix got slammed when it was so gun heavy, the first one, and like the Columbine shootings happened and stuff, and it got a load of flack for it. But David Ayer, his films are always like really gun heavy kind of thing. There's loads of gun combat in them and stuff like that, and I like that. You know, it feels like an old 80s film almost. There's so much gun action and stuff like that, and yeah, I quite enjoyed that. So I thought it was okay. I mean, it's not very original, and there's nothing amazing in it really, but it's perfectly fine. I thought. I don't get why it was so hated on.
It definitely didn't deserve the critics' ratings at all.
Yeah.
Is there a stigma to Netflix films then?
Oh, there definitely is. I mean, I have one myself.
I don't think that stigma reaches to TV shows. I think
it's like a
films.
reverse effect with TV shows almost. If you hear Netflix TV show, everyone's like, "Oh, I've got to watch that." Netflix films, they're like, "Oh, straight to video kind of thing."
Yeah, that's it though, isn't it? That's the way people view it. Whereas there's a lot of good TV shows that have been Netflix exclusive, but can you name me any good Netflix films?
I mean, there are ones. I've not watched it yet, but Ultra is meant to be amazing. I'm sure there's been a few others. Beasts of No Nation with Idris Elba.
Actually, I have heard that.
It's meant to be amazing. Directed by the guy who did True Detective and stuff. So, but I've not watched it yet. But so there's a few good ones there. But this was the first attempt at a real like big blockbuster, summer blockbuster kind of movie, and it's been slammed. So personally, I'd give it a very light 3.5. I thought it was fine. Quite enjoyed it. Yep. Just going off from that though, I watched on the David Ayer theme. I watched End of Watch as well. His first film he did as a director. I mean, David Ayer, they say write what you know, and all of his films are basically about gang culture and stuff and police in LA. That's why Suicide Squad's so weird when like the Joker turns up with like metal gold teeth and stuff. He's just a gangster in it, you know. Looking like now, that's clearly just David Ayer, his influence of making him like a Mexican like drug lord or something kind of thing. But yeah, End of Watch is fantastic. It's got a weird concept to it. It's like a found footage police movie. Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Payne were the two policemen that you follow around, and they have like small digital cameras on the body. And within the film, they're like filming their day-to-day life for a little project they're doing. But you then get dragged into it's not going to be a big spoiler, but they uncover this big like drug bust. And they then get put out on them by the cartel. So it's kind of like how they then go about like surviving the day in LA kind of thing while gangs are trying to kill them and stuff. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Some great like, because it's all through like dash cams and these weird small body cams. There's loads of like awesome car chases, but you want to see like a dash cam kind of version of this car chase and stuff.
I quite like the sound of that as well.
Yeah, it's got a weird like kind of like, you know, the TV show Cops, like weird like Cops feel to like you're watching an actual film, but like it's an episode of Cops kind of thing. And as they're going about the business throughout the day, responding to police calls, they're just getting dragged into like weird little mini dramas throughout the day and stuff. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. How David Ayer has gone from doing that to doing stuff like Suicide Squad, I don't know. But, you know, because this is amazing, and he did Fury as well, a World War II film.
That was amazing.
Which is fantastic, yeah. So I don't know how he can do two films of that higher quality and then go on to do Suicide Squad and Sabotage and stuff. It's really weird. But yeah, I loved it. I'm giving it a heavy 4.5. I should just really give it a 5, but I'm on a bit of a mission this year to not overrate film. I feel like I gave everything a 5 last year. So.
Yeah, you gave a few 6s out last year.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Split, 2017, third best film. Yeah, so yeah, heavy 4.5 out of 5. And yeah, I think that's... William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist, called it the best police film ever, End of Watch, so...
Okay.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Sounds good, yeah. Nick, have you watched anything this week?
Yeah, I mean, just today, actually. It's the only film I've watched all week, but I watched... I don't think it needs much of an introduction, but Iron Man. I think everyone's...
What's that about?
I think everyone's seen Iron Man at this point. I won't go into much detail, but I've just started it because about now, if I watch an MCU film a week, start with Iron Man, and then it'll be Incredible Hulk next week. I'll be able to watch a film a week, and then the final week will be Infinity War. So I'm going to start with that. Well, I've just started with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film, Iron Man. Love it.
Yeah, I love Iron
Jon
Man.
Favreau directed it, didn't he?
Yep. Jon Favreau. I think Jeff Bridges is great in it as well as Obadiah Stane, the bad guy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
There's that one bit, my sister loves this bit, the bit where he's trying to get one of his guys to recreate the. I can't even think what it's called now. The
arc reactor.
The arc reactor. That's it. Trying to recreate the work that Tony Stark did to make the arc reactor, and Obadiah's like sci-fi man, tech man can't do it. And he's just shouting at him, going, "Oh, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps." Just that scene is amazing when he's got it like bent over the thing, shouting at him. Yeah, I love that.
I don't know if it was you who said it, but like there's a bit like, and it made me laugh because it is funny. But someone mentioned it. I don't know if it was you. It was the bit where it's in his suit, and his mate's going like, "What's that noise?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm driving with the roof down." He's in his suit and he's ringing up, basically saying like there's like an unknown object in wherever it is.
Yeah, like Afghanistan or something.
Yeah, and is this you? It's like no. I was like, what's that noise? It's like I'm driving with the roof down, and it's like you sound out of breath. It's like I'm just jogging at the Grand Canyon. It's like, I thought you were driving. It's like yeah, I'm gonna drive to the Grand Canyon and I'm gonna jog.
That's good, but it's worth mentioning. Is it Cody Rhodes, that guy's called?
I'm not sure.
Sergeant Rhodes or something.
Something like that.
But it's played by Terrence Howard in this film, not Don Cheadle.
Is he going to end up being... I can't remember. Is he the one who ends up being War Machine?
He becomes War Machine, yeah. But Terrence Howard played him in this film. And apparently asked for too much money for part 2. So they just binned him off and said, well, Don Cheadle's cheaper, so we'll just get him.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Yeah, great film. Great start to the MCU.
It's one of my favourite ones, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to next week watching The Incredible Hulk, though. I just don't enjoy that film whatsoever. Yeah, that's all I've got to talk about film-wise.
Could I just throw in there as well that weird little stat about... Do you remember the scene when he's giving a press conference when he first comes back from Afghanistan?
Yeah.
And he requests a Burger King, and he's eating the Burger King at the stand. It's a weird little nod that to the fact that when he had those massive drug problems... The night he cleaned himself up, he went to BK. Like for some reason, ate loads of BK and was like, right, no more drugs now after that. Yeah, so apparently he included that apparently deliberately just as a weird little...
So that was
he loves BK.
RDJ's idea. That.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
On the Marvel topic, Black Panther is out in February. Have we seen much of that?
I've seen the trailers and that. I'm quite really excited for that film.
Yeah.
I think like... Infinity War's being coined as the blockbuster of the year, but I think Black Panther will probably beat it. It'll probably be better.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it. I think not the film, but I've seen a lot of the trailers and stuff. Like it looks interesting. Kendrick Lamar is producing the soundtrack, which I found quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing. It's starring Michael B. Jordan as the bad guy in it. Yeah. He's a fantastic actor, and Ryan Coogler, who directed Creed, is directing it. So Creed is, if Creed is anything to go off, it should be fantastic. Yeah. Yep.
Do you think we'll get to a point with Marvel though, where which character is going to be the Marvel film too far?
I know what you mean. I mean, I thought we'd have been there already, to be honest with you, but
they've all been of a certain quality.
Yeah,
the majority anyway.
They seem to keep pulling them off, don't they?
I mean, I'm trying to think of like one of the most like strangest characters out there, but
I'm thinking like Captain Marvel or something like that. Maybe
that might be like
that could be the one where no one cares, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. I mean that'll be. Is that coming out before part 2 of Infinity War? I think it's coming between part 1 and 2, isn't it? So it's still going to be during phase 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I thought Ant-Man was going to be the one that was too far, because I was like, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive comic book fan, but Ant-Man I kind of read about when I did announce the film, and I was like, really? Are they doing this? But then when they got Paul Rudd in and did the film, I was like, this is one of my more favorite, like one of the better ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel though, like in 2006 or something, when people started hearing about Iron Man, they're like, what? Who the fuck's Iron Man? I think everyone would have thought that at that point.
Yeah.
But then Iron Man's become like a staple of the MCU, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One day there'll be one that comes out and they go, this one was just one step too far with like just vague Marvel characters.
I feel like DC might beat them to it, like Shazam. Like, who cares about Shazam? Like, I'm sure there are fans out there, but like, on the whole, like, surely people aren't going to be flocking to go and see Shazam. You know, it's like, ooh.
They'll probably do like a film about Squirrel Girl or something, and everyone's just like, yeah, right, I've enough now.
Yeah,
I've had enough.
And I think people thought Guardians might have been the film with like a whole talking raccoon and stuff like that, but they made it work, didn't they? So
yeah. I remember when that one, I felt the same about that I did about Ant-Man.
And like a tree, like and stuff.
Like, this ain't gonna work. And then you put people like Batista in it, and you're like, how is this gonna work? And then you watch it and go, that was good.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel voices the tree.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah, they've been pulling it off, and they'll probably continue to. They've pulled the most of them off.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange, I remember liking, but kind of at the end of it, I was like,
yeah.
But again, stuff like that, it's still cast really well. Benedict Cumberbatch is a good Doctor Strange.
I mean, that got delayed by a while, the Doctor Strange, purely because like the director wanted Benedict Cumberbatch. So like, no, like I think he was doing another film or a TV show or something at the time, so we couldn't do it at first. But like, no, we're waiting for Benedict Cumberbatch. We're not doing it without him.
Yeah.
I
mean, we never know. Black Panther might be the one that
could be
kind of implodes a bit, maybe.
I mean, we've got like Infinity War with this like Thanos. I mean, Josh Brolin's great and all in it, but like
it looks goofy though, doesn't it?
It does look goofy, but like the directors are. I mean, they've probably been told by Marvel to say it because everyone always complains about the 2D-ness of villains in the MCU.
Yeah,
but they come out and like what the directors are saying is, I can't wait for everyone to like be introduced to Thanos. He's like one of the most 3D villains ever, but basically trying to state that like he's nothing like we've had before.
Yeah,
I don't know what to feel about that, but
I've got to admit, I think he looks like awful, but from what I saw in the trailer, he again, with it being Josh Brolin, he at least seems like he's got a bit of personality to him. There's one bit where he's saying like I never really had a taste for this whole end of the world stuff, but he's got the gauntlet on. It's like I'm starting to develop a taste for it. Actually,
well, apparently, like you do get a lot of his backstory and stuff. So like, like instead of it just being another guy that's trying to end the world, you're actually gonna find out exactly why he does it. And that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do a pod on that when it comes out.
Yeah. Yep, cool. Any more films, or shall I move on to our first headliner this week?
Yeah, I'm
happy to go.
Good,
yeah.
All right. Okay, so I've watched Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle this week.
Welcome to the jungle.
This is the not remake, but this is kind of like it's the successor to the original Jumanji, which came out in the 90s.
Yeah, 95. Right? Oh, yeah, 95 or 96.
95, 96. This has got higher ratings than the original, which I was surprised by because when I was growing up, Jumanji was like a staple of every kid watched Jumanji when I was young.
Well, that's it. I loved Jumanji the original. I watched it many times, and then when I heard this was coming out, I was like, "Oh, they're doing it again. They're gonna ruin another bloody childhood film of mine." And then, like you say, everyone's loving it.
It very much does not feel like a Jumanji successor. It really doesn't.
It's like its own film. Kind of.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've got the synopsis, so I'll read that out before I go. Yep. 4 teenagers are sucked into a magical video game, and the only way they can escape is to work together to finish the game. So obviously, in the original Jumanji, I haven't watched that in a long time, but they don't go to a desert island type of thing, do they?
I mean, I think.
Doesn't it come to them?
Robin Williams goes there, then comes back out, but we don't see that.
Yeah. Well, on this one, you go to the place. So the cast on it, it's a really good cast. I'll read them out here, but it's Dwayne Johnson. He's in it. Kevin Hart.
Who's that?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Have you heard of him? Kevin Hart. Those two have worked together on films before, and they're a funny duo. Jack Black, can't really go wrong. Well, you can go wrong with Jack Black, but Jack Black plays a teenage girl, basically, which sounds like it's not going to work. Sounds like it'd be ridiculous, but Jack Black does a really amazing job with it. I think most of my laughs were from Jack Black.
I can imagine. He is a funny guy.
Karen Gillan is in it. She's obviously she's part of the Marvel universe. And former Amy Pond is her name, is it?
Yeah, from Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple of people. Rhys Darby's in it.
That name rings a bell, but I can't think now what else he's been in.
Yeah, and Nick Jonas, one of the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
Famous musician. But I'll be fair to him. He holds his own in the film. He's not a bad actor at all. I don't know if he's got any background in acting, but
I think he's been in a few.
He must have been.
I'm pretty sure he was in Celebrity Apprentice one year that I watched. Yeah, right. So he's worked with Donald Trump. So he's worked with the big boys before.
The real actors.
Isn't it in like High School Musical or something like that?
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. But like, he's not bad in the film at all. He's pretty good.
We mentioned before as well as engaged to Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, just when I was at the cinema and I was watching Jumanji, and in the first sort of 10-15 minutes, like a box is like swept ashore and it's got like a little game cartridge in it. And I was like, I hate this already. I can't stand this, because the original one was like a board game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now I can imagine a creepy magical board game that I can't remember what happens to it, but does it wash up ashore?
I think it's in the attic, innit? They find it in the attic or something. Is that right?
What?
The board game. They find it in the attic of the house. Yeah.
Well,
sorry. The Robin Williams character, he finds it at a building site in the wall.
Oh, so yeah, but does he then leave it in the attic for the other kids to find it? Yeah.
These are going to be. I'm going to give minor spoilers for this new Jumanji film.
I'm fine with that.
It's not really a film that you watch for the story, really. But minor spoilers on it. It washes up in the 90s, and yeah, you sort of cut ahead to modern day. So yeah, it washes up in the 90s, this magical game cartridge, which, like I said before, I can imagine a magical board game or a magical book. I'm not having a magical haunted spooky game cartridge in like a little box.
I mean, I for some reason I was under the impression, I think I was just hoping it'd be like this, but I was under the impression that the board game would like kind of change itself so that it's still kind of, because a board game nowadays, who's going to find that? No one cares about them these days. But if
it's a haunted game of Monopoly.
But exactly.
But even that though, people don't play Monopoly. Exactly. If you don't have that electronic card reader in it anymore, you need all the high tech stuff.
So in my head, it was changing with the time so that it can still get people.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's not gone that way, then.
No, well, it's not went that way on this one, but what ends up happening is you fast forward to modern day, and these different teenagers in these scenes with the teenagers early on. A lot of it, I was like, I'm gonna hate this film. Like at this point, I'm really watching it, going, this isn't gonna be good at all, because it's just teenage dialogue, but it's really poorly written teenage dialogue for a lot of it. But these four teenagers, very different teenagers, all end up in the same detention, and they have to go and destaple some stuff. And so they're in the storerooms and they find this weird looking game console. So it's obviously like a haunted version of like a SNES, but you look at it and go, right, I see what they've tried to do. Still hate it. I'm like, no, you can't have a haunted game console.
Yeah.
So they put the game in and they go, should we have a go? So they start playing it, but then they go to the girls and like, do you want to play? And there's one girl who clearly doesn't want to play, but manages to play anyway. So they go in and select the characters, and then they all morph into the game and land. And this is where the film really starts, and like it does start getting funny, where The Rock comes into it, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, like all these people come into it. Karen Gillan as well, all come in at that point. And that's where you get introduced to Jack Black as a teenage girl, because he's the teenage girl previous him in the real world, just the type who's constantly on Instagram and like WhatsApp and stuff. This were two of the things that's I mentioned that before. Is that Instagram is like, they show it more or less, and they show a fake version of WhatsApp as well earlier on in the film. And I'm like, this is just going to be a millennial version of Jumanji. You know, I always spoke about a millennial Spider-Man. Yeah. This is the millennial Jumanji. Everyone's on WhatsApp. Everyone's on Instagram. Instagram in every moment. So when obviously Jack Black's character is like, where's my phone? It's just like, right, okay. But yeah, no, that's where the jokes start, and it is funny. So obviously The Rock's a big guy who in the real world is just a dorky like teenager, and so he's looking at himself like, oh my God, which is great. But then you've obviously got Jack Black, who's a teenage girl, and he looks and he's like middle-aged, like overweight man. But yeah, that's all good. I liked all that. So yeah, you go through a quest more or less where all the people you meet in the film are just NPCs. So they have set dialogue generally. So you meet someone who drives you off and tells you the plot of the game. So it's like you're in a game playing it. So yeah, the people, you can say things to these characters and they don't respond in a normal way. They only respond as a game would. But yeah, they like as well. Everyone has 3 sort of lines on their arm, which they're tattoos of like these 3 lines. Instantly, you click on they're like lives,
right.
So, in the first couple of minutes, Jack Black gets eaten by a giant hippo, as you would expect. But then he obviously respawns, and in the game, in the film, he sort of drops from the sky and just appears again. It's like, what happened? He's like, don't know. So yeah, they basically go through. They end up meeting the Jonas brother, who this is. Do you mind if I just spoil this bit?
Go for it.
No.
Okay, minor spoiler. Well, this is probably a major spoiler. This, if you don't want a Jumanji spoiler, skip ahead about a couple of minutes. When they first selected their characters, you couldn't select one of the characters in the game, and it's because there was somebody stuck in the game.
Oh, okay.
Nick Jonas.
Yeah, and it's Nick Jonas who, like, whoever was playing, whoever the teenager was in real life, that was Nick Jonas. Yeah, but I don't want to give any more away from the film, but I found it funny. It didn't drag or anything. It was like I said, I lost faith a couple of times at the start, and I thought I'm really not going to like this. But I did laugh out loud quite a few times in the cinema.
Yeah,
and there's enough laughs in it for me to be able to recommend it. Like you don't watch that film for the story or anything like that, but the little quips and the sort of like I said, the actors that they actually have in it are good. Like, and it's the dialogue. The teenage dialogue's poorly written, I think, but the jokes are funny and the humor is good in it. So
yeah,
I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I decided, because I was watching the film, giving it ratings, and it started off as like a 1, and then went up to a 4, and then there was a bit of a drag, and I was like, yeah. But then it got funny again, and I was like, right, overall it's a 3 out of 5.
Well, that's fair enough.
So that's
you've sold it to me.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's definitely worth a watch. If you go in with low expectations like I did, you'll hate the start, and you'll hate the premise of a haunted video game because
I already hate that, to be honest,
because it's the most millennial thing that you can imagine. A haunted SNES game.
Yeah. Can I ask, does it tie in at all to the old film, or is it like a reboot completely?
I feel like it's a reboot completely.
Right,
but
okay.
I don't want to give anything away because there is a couple of.
Don't want to give anything away after just spoiling the entire film.
No, I don't want to give anything away because I've left a couple of bits out that I don't want to talk about that it's worth, the moment.
Yeah, not knowing,
like watching.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, it's good.
It's doing really well at the box office. It's taking loads in America. I think it's actually even topped The Last Jedi in terms of...
Really?
I mean, not made more money than The Last Jedi, but it's been keeping it off #1 spot for a couple of weeks. So
it's definitely a recommend. I don't want to go into it much further than that, but it's a recommend.
Yeah,
3 out of 5.
You've sold it to me. I'm going to try and catch it this weekend, I think. Yep.
Yeah. I want to see what you think, though.
Yeah. Maybe come back next week and we can talk about it next week or something like
that. I mean,
that.
I'd love to watch it. So
yeah,
cool. Do you two want to move on to The Last Jedi?
Yeah,
I'll take a back seat on this one because I've not seen it.
No worries.
I'm not a particular fan of Star Wars, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Can I ask a favour? Can you get the plot synopsis up for us for the for The Last Jedi?
I can do. Do you want to fill?
I mean, you were just said that you're not particularly a fan of Star Wars. I'm not. I have actually watched all Star Wars so far, but don't particularly care for the series.
Yeah.
John, on the other hand, somewhat of a fan of the original of the prequels or something.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page, Nick. To be honest, I've seen a lot of the Star Wars films, and it's just I mean, the first couple are all right, but I'm not interested. I've watched the last one before this one.
Rogue One, was it?
I think that was the one I watched.
Yeah.
You came to watch The Force Awakens.
Rogue One, that was.
Was it Rogue One?
Was it?
Yeah,
I don't even know which one it was. Okay, so I have a synopsis for Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Rey develops her newly discovered abilities with the guidance of Luke Skywalker, who is unsettled by the strength of her powers. Meanwhile, the Resistance prepares for battle with the First Order.
Thank you.
Okay, go for it.
Can we spoil?
Convince me.
Can we spoil this?
I mean,
If you put a spoiler warning on it. Spoiler warning. There are spoilers coming up for
Spoiler
The Last
warning.
Jedi now.
Yeah, we're going to spoil The Last Jedi.
it is true. Don't spoil the ending. Fashion to spoil the ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
So spoilers coming. Chewbacca dies.
I just feel like I can't explain my issues with the film without spoiling it. Do you know what
I think it'd be more interesting.
I need to spoil certain points of the film.
Full spoiler warning. Yeah.
And it has been out for like 3 weeks now, so I'm pretty sure anybody who wanted to watch it will have watched it by now, kind of thing. Yeah. So The Last Jedi, you mentioned there, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. Look, I was looking forward to this, but I was a bit with trepidation. I wasn't entirely convinced it was going to be what I want from a Star Wars film. I wasn't totally blown away by The Force Awakens, so I had a feeling this would be a retread of The Empire Strikes Back, in the same way that The Force Awakens is a retread of A New Hope. But as it turns out, my first run found it. It's not well. I mean, there are elements in there, but it's not totally a retread of The Empire Strikes Back. All my issues with the film are totally different things. Nothing to do with that.
Right.
Yeah, so where should we start? What do you want to talk? What do you want to start with?
I mean, it's up to you.
How did you feel about the film as a whole?
As a whole, I'd like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars fan, but of the Star Wars in general. But I came out of this film was like, that was amazing. I love that film. But that might be because I'm not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
that's a good valid point. That.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned before about Bright having a massive disparity between critic scores and audience ratings. This is the same, but the other way around. It's got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes critically, but the audience score's down to 48%. I think now, audiences are hating it and critics are loving it, kind of thing.
These entitled Star Wars fans. That's what it is.
I think an element of it is people know what they want from a Star Wars film, and this definitely doesn't give you what you want from a Star Wars film. It's, you know what I mean? It's quite different than other ones. I mean, I've got a few issues with it. On the first watch, I actually quite enjoyed it. I came out thinking, that was better than I thought it'd be. But it's the kind of film where, on a first time watch, when you don't know what's coming next, you're interested and you're involved in the film and you're enjoying it. On a second time watch, once you know what's coming, and once you know how pointless and how it leads to nothing, you don't enjoy it. You know what I mean? So it's a good first time watch, but
I mean, I've only watched it the once. I have no plans to watch it again, but I did enjoy it the first time I watched it.
Yeah, I'll explain to you what essentially the plot of this film is, Joe. The Resistance, who are led by Princess Leia, are being chased by the First Order, being led by Kylo Ren. After the last film, they blew up the First Order's big base. And this one picks up directly from that, and they're being chased through space by the First Order, trying to kill them, so the bad guys are winning. And this film is one big slow chase through space.
Right.
Just literally, they're just staying just out of range of the First Order, but they're just chugging through space. And that's it. Right. That's the plot of the film, yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. And along the way, the people on the Resistance ship, which is Finn. I don't know if you know who Finn is.
He's the new guy, and he.
Well, the new guy's Finn, Poe, and a new character called Poe. Yep.
From the Teletubbies.
Yeah. And a new character called Rose. All hatch a plan to, while they're being chased through space, they'll pop off to another planet, find a code breaker who can break into the First Order Star Destroyer and turn off their tracker so they can't follow them.
Right.
And it's a massive part of the film. It's like an hour-long part of the film. Trying to go and get the code breaker, to then come back, to then get into the Star Destroyer, to then stop the tracking device. And it turns out all that is just for nothing. It's just a completely pointless subplot that doesn't lead to anything.
Right.
Because it turns out Princess Leia's got another plan, being on the ship, of something else entirely. And by them going and doing that, they've actually ruined her plan. So, it's just a lot of pointless subplots.
Is it like a really poorly done bait and switch type thing?
It's a bit like a bait and switch kind of thing, yeah.
But they're bait and switching the audience. And
almost, yeah, almost. And the stuff like Poe Dameron leads this weird mutiny to go and do this. But it turned out they had another plan to go to another planet anyway and do this other thing. If they just told him the plan, he wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? It just seems very contrived and and pointless.
How long is the film?
The film's over 2.5 hours long.
It is a long film.
Yeah, it could be like a 90-minute film. It didn't need to be that long.
So are you telling me that a third of the film pretty much pointless?
A lot of it leads to that, which doesn't really serve any purpose whatsoever and essentially the whole point is that they're chugging through space, they get onto another planet at the end, and the First Order comes down to that planet to face them, and that's pretty much the film. That's it.
That's just the film.
Yeah.
Great.
They have a few diversions along the way, but that is essentially the film kind of thing. I don't really know what else to go into, to be honest with you.
Like I say, I actually did enjoy it.
Did you enjoy what John's just explained with the...
I didn't have any problems with like that. I thought it was quite a good watch for the most part. Like you said, it didn't need to be that long at all. They could have definitely... I felt it by the end. I was like, this is going on.
I was going to ask, did you both feel like when you were watching it, this is going on now?
Yeah, when I was in there, I was like, this has been on for a long time and it doesn't need to be on anymore. But I did have one massive thing I didn't like with the film. And I'm just going to spoil it.
We've put big spoiler warnings.
There's a part of the film where Princess Leia gets blown out into space, and
okay,
and I'm sat. I go, oh, well, cool. They've killed her off because obviously, like, Thingy died and Carrie Fisher died last year. So, the year before now. Okay.
Yeah, last Christmas. Yeah.
So I was like, oh. Cool, they're killing her off. Makes sense. While with her being dead and all.
Yeah.
And then Princess Leia gets her force powers and starts Supermaning back to the spaceship. And it was ridiculous.
So, question: Princess Leia, she survives the film.
I think, yeah.
She does. She survived the film.
Pretty sure she's one of the only people who does.
So what's happening?
No, who knows? Because she survives the film, and she's the only one who's died in real life. So
she's one of the only ones who survived. Well, not one of the only ones, but she's one of the
deaths. Give me deaths.
She's one of the only old people from the old films to survive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Luke Skywalker, who didn't survive the film. Obviously,
did he?
No.
Luke Skywalker died in it.
Yeah.
Han Solo obviously died in the last one. So like,
this is the plan, innit? They killed all the old cast off.
They killed them all. Well, apart from Carrie Fisher, apparently.
Yeah, and she's dead in real life. So it's like, what do you do with her character now?
But that sounds like the perfect moment that they could have like.
Yeah, they had literally about 3 or 4 opportunities in this film to leave her dead.
I'm not saying
they
like
keep bringing her back.
I'm not saying like kill her off just because she's unfortunately she died in real life. Like I think we've all watched Fast and Furious where Paul Walker died. They finished the film off and then had that quite touching moment where they drive off in separate directions. Yeah. So I assume that's what they do.
They definitely need to do that with her.
Because how many more Star Wars films are they doing?
Well, there's one more of the main saga coming, episode 9.
Because I can see them doing Star Wars now for the next 15
Well, they always do trilogies, don't they? So like they've obviously done the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and now the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna finish this one with the 9th one, I assume. And then I think they originally had a plan for the director of this one to do the next trilogy, didn't they? To
do like a brand new trilogy, but people are hating on this so much that I don't know whether Disney will go back on the word now and say, actually, yeah, you're not doing that trilogy. It's Rian Johnson, I forgot to mention that. Rian Johnson directed this, who's done like episodes of Breaking Bad. Right. He did Looper, which people like.
I like Looper.
Yeah, it's a good film.
But which episode of Breaking Bad did you do?
The Fly episode.
I knew it. See, this is why.
Yeah. He's done a few others, but the Fly one was one of his.
Yeah, that was an awful episode.
Yeah. Yeah, like Nick mentioned there, the Leia thing. I've got to admit with you, that's one of the things that doesn't bother me that much. But it's weird. Like she's literally in the spaceship on the bridge, and Kylo Ren's wingmen blow up the bridge, and everybody in there gets flown out into space. And it's a bit like the I can't think of the guy's name now. Yondu from Guardians. You know when he's in space and he dies. He's all crystallised.
Yeah.
In Guardians. She's in space getting all crystallised. But then she's like, use the Force. And she flies back into the ship.
Literally Superman's back, round out in front and everything.
I mean, I'm a complete Star Wars novice, but I didn't know Princess Leia could use the Force.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't know this before. I didn't know she had it.
I mean, this is one of the complaints of the series that they've never really used her to her potential. So I feel like they're been trying to address that by
bit late now.
Bit late now, yeah.
Well, I'm assuming she'll die in the next installment.
I think the next one will start with a crawl, just saying like Princess Leia's had a heart attack, something like that, or because she can't be in it at all, can she?
Princess Leia's returned to her home planet.
Can't they put her in as like CGI?
I mean, they could, but
they have done that really well previously in Star Wars.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did this.
I just think that now that she's dead, it's a bit like, what's the word?
I know what you mean.
She's not around to say whether she wants to be in it or not. You know what I mean?
Someone as well who was she was iconic as well as an actress.
I think they'll just completely write her out of it or something.
Yeah, I think they'll give her a send off. I don't think they'll kill her off. They'll have Princess Leia live forever, type thing.
Yeah, but there's another section later in the film as well where Laura Dern from Twin Peaks plays Vice Admiral Holdo in this film, and to get off the ship, to get down to the planet, which is all part of the plan, they need someone to stay on the ship to pilot it, knowing that they're going to get killed. It's like a sacrificial thing. And Holdo's like, oh, it's okay, I'll do it. And Leia's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, I'll stay and do it. So Leia goes down to the planet and leaves Holdo to be the sacrificial lamb. But that's another opportunity. Just make Leia do it. You can kill Leia off, give her a good death.
But there is Swallow Wren in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, Ben Swallow. Yeah, yeah. Adam Driver plays Kylo Ren, and there's a scene where he's topless. People are going mad about it.
Why?
He's ripped.
He's just so buff.
He's ripped.
He's got these massive high-waisted pants on up to his chest.
Right.
People just love it.
Do you two salivating right now?
Yep. It's trending. Like John Mayer has been doing his own topless photo shots with high-waisted pants on and stuff. Yeah, people are loving Ben Swallow. Yeah,
there is like
can't tell if you're being ironic or not.
People are. It is like
loving it.
blowing up like memes and everything. Yeah,
there's like bits which are a bit confused as well. Like the big bad is Snoke in the film.
Yeah, do you know about Snoke?
No.
Who can like read? He can pretty much read everyone's minds and knows what everyone's going to do before they're going to do it, but somehow misses the fact that Kylo Ren's turning his lightsaber to kill him.
This is a big issue. Right? Snoke is like the new Emperor character, like the big ultimate bad guy who controls Kylo Ren.
And he can see into the future.
Well, I mean, he has visions. Like that's a force power. Like everyone has, all force users have visions of the future and stuff.
Immediate future.
Well, just random events and stuff. Yeah.
Because why would they? Right, hang on. I'm going to say something here. If they've got visions if this bad guy has got visions of the future, where he's the bad guy, so he's going to lose in the end, why is he bothering at all?
I don't think he had a vision of that.
Pick a smaller fight.
I feel like it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like Anakin in the prequels had visions of his wife dying.
Yeah. So
he turned to the dark side to prevent that from happening. Okay. But the irony is that by turning to the dark side, he made it happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like
right, okay.
So it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? That
so if you wanted to, if you could rewrite it not in the real world, in the film, right? to help me understand it, you could kind of say he's turned to the dark side to stop him losing, like
maybe, but to stop that from happening, and that's what
he thinks by doing what he's doing, he's fulfilling some other type of prophecy or something.
Yeah, but he doesn't realise he's actually
fine. Fine.
But just on the Snoke thing, like it's J.J. Abrams did the last one, and J.J. Abrams is all about the mystery box thing. He creates like Lost. He creates mysteries. He's got no idea what the answer is, but he'll create a mystery to keep the audience interested. And one of the mysteries were, who is Snoke? He came from nowhere. Who is he? What part does he play in the bigger picture? And who are Rey's parents? Is it Luke Skywalker? Is it Obi-Wan Kenobi? And this film, directed by Rian Johnson,
answers both of them things.
Well, it answers it, but in a way, it's to say like, look, JJ, I don't care about your mysteries. I'm going to literally make them seem as pointless as they actually are. He kills Snoke off without even answering who he is, as if to say like he's pointless. You don't even need to know who he is. Kills him off easily, and you find out the Rey's parents are nobody. They're just a couple of drunkards who've sold her for drinking money. Oh. And it's like, it's not very satisfying.
They're kind of just been that must have just been the plan, though.
Apparently not. Like J.J.
Would he have had full say on something?
They're saying now that J.J. Abrams completely had control of The Force Awakens, and Rian Johnson could do whatever he wanted with this film. And it feels that way when you're watching it.
Why are Disney just letting?
I don't know.
really small groups of people just
completely
take
dictate
the franchise in completely separate directions.
Yeah, so he's killed off a group of like J.J. Abrams characters in this film. And JJ is coming back for the next one. JJ's doing episode 9 and thinking like, well, thanks a bunch. Like, you've killed all my cast off.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, he could totally still bring Snoke. But I mean, I know he pretty much.
I think he will do.
Like, and he could flip the table on her parents as well. Like,
Say that he's lying. Yeah.
They were lying. Yeah.
I think he will.
I love the idea of the two of them just doing alternate Star Wars films and just keep bringing back people that the other ones got rid of.
I like how he digs at the other people. Like, yeah,
it's like a meta storyline.
When I was watching it and he said that about her parents, I was sat there at the time thinking maybe they'll just they're just lying.
Yeah,
they're just lying.
He lied to her just to help her, make her join him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one other thing I've got with like the Force, this like I say, I'm not a big fan of the original 6 films or the 2 that came out in the past couple of years that much. But I never knew this. Like basically, Rey and Ren can communicate over vast distances because of the Force.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, that was never a thing before.
I've got to admit that is actually a thing. That,
is
like,
it a thing?
Darth Vader and Luke communicated an empire like that.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
So I think people forgot about that. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, okay.
So it is kind of a thing, but they make a point about like they're so far away, you'd have to be super powerful to do it. But it turned out it was Snoke who was connecting them, so apparently he was using his power to do it. Like, yeah. So, okay. But it's not a great.
Yeah, I didn't quite like that.
Yeah.
Of the film, them communicating like that.
It's not a great plot.
I mean,
yeah.
I know I said I liked it at the beginning. I'm like, I still.
Don't let John convince you.
No. I stand by that. I still like the film.
Yeah.
It's just bits of it which pretty much spoke me a lot. Like,
I mean, I've got to admit, I don't hate it or anything. I could watch it again easily. It's just
John's gonna say this and go 5 stars.
6-star film. But yeah, there's a few other bits and bobs in there. How did you feel about the humour of the film?
I'm pretty sure. Like I'm drawing a blank on any of it, but I'm pretty sure at the time I remember like being annoyed by some of it, just cheesy and didn't need to be there kind of stuff.
Like it's a weird kind of comedy in this one. Star Wars comedy in the past has always been quite kind of old-fashioned visual comedy. But in this one, you have like Poe Dameron making like your mama jokes to General Hux and stuff. There's what other examples are there? You get the Porgs. Have you heard of the Porgs at all? Little puffing creatures. And, I mean, I actually don't mind the Porgs, to be honest with you, but people had an issue with them saying they're too cute. They're just little cute, like birds kind of thing.
There's another Chewbacca Christmas.
Basically,
yeah.
Basically, the island that Luke Skywalker lived on and they were filming on for that. There's loads of actual puffins on there, but because they're like endangered animals, there's some rule that they can't be filmed. They're not allowed to be on film. So the director had to come up with something to remedy
fake puffins.
So he essentially made this little porg.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't mind them, to be honest. They're one of the least offensive things in the film to me. But yeah, like there's one bit. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
There's one bit where BB-8, the little ball droid. I don't know if you've seen him. They go to a casino planet to try and find a code breaker, and because it's doing a casino, you get this little drunk alien like putting coins into BB-8, thinking it's a slot machine.
All right,
and then later on, BB-8 fires the coins out like a gun.
I like that.
I've got some. I mean, it's ridiculous. And like it is a bit crap, but I laughed at it.
Yeah, I can have that. Yeah.
Sort of stuff like that, really. Yeah. There's a few other examples of like there's one bit where you think you're looking at a ship coming down to land, like all steam blowing off, but it's actually a robot doing ironing. Like when the camera pans out and an iron comes down and irons some clothes.
See, from the Star Wars I've seen, stuff like that, I'm fine with stuff like that. Daft humour.
I mean, there's nothing like this in other films, to be honest with you. This is even another level of kind of
because there were
almost parody now. Like
fair enough. I remember C-3PO has had some funny stuff. In
yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm okay with 3PO's humour. Yep. There's a few other bits. I'll just mention. I mean, we've not really mentioned Luke and Rey much, have we? But they're stuck on an island, and Rey spends the whole film convincing Luke to train her to become a Jedi. And then at the end, because the Resistance are stuck on this planet being attacked by the First Order, Luke and Rey go there to help them fight. I mean, we have spoiled it. We're spoiling this, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'll explain this to you how it happens. You're led to believe that Luke has gone to the planet to help them fight, And Luke walks out and faces down the entire First Order on his own. And they all shoot at him, and he's still just stood there, like, you can't hurt him kind of thing. And he has a little scuffle with Kylo Ren, and it's revealed that Luke was never there. He's just used the Force to, like, teleport himself there.
Well, put like an image of himself.
Put an image of himself there, yeah. So at first I was like, oh, that is actually pretty cool. Like, Luke's just totally punked Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that because he'd whatever you call it, I don't know. What do you call that when you cast an image of yourself somewhere else?
Casting an image of
yeah. It turned out that it was such a vast distance to do that it actually killed Luke. It was such an effort. He was still back on the island and he just died and disappeared.
Right. That's how he died.
So he killed himself all to punk Kylo
To punk
Ren.
Kylo Ren. So you're just thinking, why didn't you just actually go there? If you're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite cool when seeing Kylo Ren get angry because he's just pretty much fired everything he's got at Luke, and he's just stood there like, oh, I've got a bit of dust on my jacket.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing at that bit. Like, they fire the entire guns at him and just smoke everywhere, and then it clears, and Luke's just stood there just going... Yeah, right. Very good. Okay. But again, I loved that scene when I first watched it. In terms of a first time watch, I was like, this is amazing. But then you find out afterwards, Luke's not even there, and the effort of doing that killed him. You're just like, oh my god, like, you know, it's just oh yeah.
How many? I know you've got a few more notes.
I think I'm nearly done. How
many people died in this film? Original cast type stuff.
Well, Luke dies.
Luke dies, doesn't
he? Captain Phasma dies. Snoke dies. Holdo. Oh, one other one actually. The scene earlier when Leia gets shot out into space. Admiral Akbar's a bit of a cool kind of Star Wars character. He's always in the background, but Admiral Akbar's quite a bit of a meme
as well.
He's a meme, exactly. Yeah,
that's why I know him.
Yeah, you know, he's quite a bit of a cool background character. And in that scene, after Leia flies back in again, they mention later on, Admiral Akbar died before. You're like, what? I didn't see that. It's like, Admiral Akbar just died off screen. And it's like, he deserved a better death than that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so just one last point is that they introduced a new character called Rose, who's just dreadful, I think. I'm not a big fan of her at all. And she, like, mentions this theme at the end. She stops Finn from sacrificing himself in a really weird way. She's like, Finn's going to sacrifice himself to stop the First Order getting into the temple that they're in. And she stops him doing it. And she says, like, we're not going to win by fighting what we hate. We're going to win by saving what we love, as if that's the theme of the film. But they seem to forget that, like, Admiral Holdo's already sacrificed herself to get them to this point. Luke's going to sacrifice himself in about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So they're making a point of, like, don't sacrifice yourself, but people are doing it all over this film already. You know? Just really muddled themes, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. I think I'm pretty much done, to be honest.
You got any final thoughts on it, Nick, before we let you give ratings?
No, I'm happy just to go to ratings. Just ratings.
Who wants to start then?
Well, I'll go. I'm stuck between like a heavy 3 and a very light 3.5. I'll go heavy 3. It's the worst Star Wars film, I think. It's bottom of the pile.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I mean, it won't be much higher. I'll probably go 3.5. But in my opinion, it's the best Star Wars film.
I like that though.
I think this might be why I like it so much, because I'm not a Star Wars fan. I don't like Star Wars. So, and by the sounds of it, pretty much all Star Wars fans hate it. So I like it because of that, probably, though.
Of this latest trilogy, where does this rank with the other two that have already been released?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so there's only The Force Awakens so far.
I think you're talking about
Rogue One.
Rogue One. For me, it's Force Awakens. Out of the new three new ones.
So is it? Hang on, yeah. So these aren't a trilogy, are they?
No, Rogue One's set before the very first Star Wars film.
Oh, so is Rogue One like a prequel, and then this one is the second one of 3?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right. So of the 3 up to now, where would you?
Of the 3 up to now, I mean, looking at The Force Awakens now, it looks like a masterpiece compared to this. Right. So it's Force Awakens, Rogue One, then Last Jedi. Okay.
Oh, you got any thoughts?
Well, I remember not liking Force Awakens whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is probably top of the pile for me.
Cool.
I can't really speak on Rogue One because I got that drunk. I remember it.
On that note, let's finish off for the week.
Just one final point on Star Wars, if that's okay.
Okay.
Just that
just one more thing.
This one scene, it sets the whole mood for the film. The Force Awakens ended with Rey finding Luke on an island and walking up to him and handing him his lightsaber back, and that's how the film ends. Like a big, oh God, what's going to happen next? This one opens with her handing him the lightsaber. He takes it and looks at it and just throws it away and walks off. And like that just sets the mood for the whole film. Like I think they think it this cool humor bit, but it just makes everything feel flippant and throwaway. Literally throwaway.
Literally throwaway.
Yeah. So yes, I just want to add that in.
Great stuff. Great stuff. From one throwaway moment to another, as end this podcast.
Yep.
Have we got any final things before we just
social
media?
Yeah,
social media.
Social media.
I'll just give out the main ones. I can.
Yeah.
So we're on Twitter at DST Podcast, and we're on Facebook. Search us.
Yep.
Search us on Instagram too. Yeah.
Yep. What's your Twitter?
Oh, at DST Nick.
You can get me at Taylor1980, and you can email us at don'tspoiltheending@gmail.com. For all the new listeners, if you don't mind dropping us a mail, let us know what you think.
Dropping us a mail.
Dropping us a mail, yeah.
Drop us some email. Don't just drop us a mail.
Send us a line, yep.
Send us a postcard.
Yeah.
It's Joe on Twitter. If you want more information on this podcast, at the moment you can just check the front page of iTunes.
I keep forgetting about this. Yeah.
We're in the binge-worthy section.
Yeah, we're there. Okay, I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, we're definitely done.
Cool. All right. I guess we'll speak to you again next week. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.